Welcome, everyone. Come on in. I appreciate everyone's time. Another fun edition of the Pit Stop with us here at Agency Revolution. We'll do some introductions here as people are taking. Once everybody gets in here, I see people are still flying in here. So if this is your first trip into the Pit Stop, a few things you should know. We're gonna have a great Q&A section, but we're always AMA, which means ask me anything, but the Pit Stop is us. And so feel free to ask us anything. So use the Q&A section within the toolbar and grab that. And I'm going to be completely transparent here with you, Lucas. I'm going through the attendee list. I'm just having a look because I actually had a conversation yesterday with an old friend. And before we get into introductions, let's just keep it easy here. You know what I love about the insurance industry? It's how family it is. Like, yeah, we're in a world where there's big acquisitions and there's big companies, but there's nothing better than meeting that family owned and run agency where, it was started by mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or whatever years, and the generational thing happens. I love that. I'm envious of that. I really am. I am envious of this. And so yesterday, as it would be, and there's a few people on the call, and I see some names, and I was having a conversation with an old friend of both of ours, Lucas, and he mentioned his son was going to be on this call, on this webinar today. So I'm not gonna. Michael Janasco might be on this call, which of course you'll remember Jim.
Oh, hey.
So
Jim Janasco. Okay.
Talking to
I'm
Jim
looking for you, Michael.
Was talking to Jim yesterday, and he mentioned that his family's getting really involved in the agency, and that's I love that. I love that. So if you're in a family agency, I love seeing that. So anywho, well, let's get to introductions, Lucas. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's jump right in.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Joel. I am the insurance evangelist here at Agency Revolution. Would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, learn more about your agency. Of course, you can connect with both myself and Agency Revolution there. And love to chat. I'm passionate about this industry. I'm passionate about the family agency. And if you're not a family agency, that's cool too. I'm passionate about you too, but I just love the stories that come from those families. So that's me.
Yeah, that's really cool to see Jim Janasco's son in the fold. That's one of the great things about this business. So anyway, I'm Lucas Jans. I've worked in this industry for 20 years or so, and I love it here. I love working with property and casualty insurance agents. I started Agency Revolution, if you haven't known, a number of years back. And funny thing, Joel, before we jump in, I'm going to Vietnam on Saturday. Taking off.
Nice.
It's getting too cold here in America. Got to warm up. But actually, I lived in Vietnam for 8 years when we launched Agency Revolution and built our product engineering team over there. And I see some old faces in the crowd. Hi, Kathy Bukowski. Really nice to see you. Glad to have you in the fold. And I see Kevin Cook here as well, longtime client of Agency Revolution. And this is just one of the great things about this industry, that it's a great place to build a business and to stick around for a long time. So you really, I've got great relationships with folks I've seen for a long time, including my brother Joel here. Joel, we got to upgrade that desk. I saw you manually cranking your stand-up desk earlier. You were afraid I was going to bring it up. I did.
I'm a little old school. I'm a little old school. Sometimes it's the exercise you need at a table. So it is what it is.
There's my motorized desk there. I just raised it a touch. Sorry.
There you go. So once again, this is the Pit Stop. So you mentioned, let's jump into the agenda a little bit, what we're going to be chatting about today. And so we have some product updates, Lucas, if you want to jump over to the agenda there. I'm always excited about product updates. I think that's one thing everybody on the call should know is this solution, we are Agency Revolution, but our solutions are constantly evolving. It's an evolution, and a lot of that comes In fact, the vast majority of that comes from the people that are on this call, our clients, agencies, feedback. And so I'm super excited to, we can dive deeper into some of those. The idea of multiple pipelines, customizable pipeline stages, all kinds of cool stuff, Lucas.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as Joel mentioned, we're constantly taking in feedback to continue to grow and improve the product. We got great things coming down the pipeline with the product. Why don't I give a quick
Do it.
2-minute demo here? Yeah. So our pipeline manager, this is part of the product for all of our Fuse customers today. Anytime a form gets filled out, let's say it's on your Forge website with an AR Fuse form, it'll build a lead right here in the pipeline, and you can set up different workflows for whether they're sales workflows or support service workflows. They can all be loaded right here into the pipeline to manage the process automatically. So if you have like a service form on your website, you want to make sure everybody's following that process correctly, you might come in here and create a new pipeline just for the service experience. So for example, I could do, a service pipeline. Go ahead and type that in here. And I can add the stage in here. Let's say rename this, inbound request. And I could add a stage here through, in progress. So you can create this all in the pipeline and then have your team flow those leads through here, leads or opportunities, where they may be. So if it's a service request, you can flow right into the pipeline and you can work that and drag it and drop it across the stages. So this is new for all of our customers.
I love it. And where I would add there, Lucas, is I think when people hear the word like pipeline, the thought process initially goes to like prospects, net new, that obviously tracking those people from prospect to contact made, quote delivered, closed won, closed lost. But I think this just really highlights the fact that we're creating solutions specifically for this industry. This is what we do. We're not out here creating solutions for 10 different industries. We're creating solutions for you. And one thing Lucas and his team, and really as a whole org, we've identified is the reality, particularly now in a hard market, lots of agencies either struggle creating processes or organizing them. And so, yeah, you need to track those new prospects, but many agencies are just being overwhelmed and bogged down with remarketing or requoting or rewriting. And so having a way to functionally track that process correctly for your agencies. So, we're not here to demo the whole solution, but the idea of dropping people in based on certain criteria into a pipeline because they've been identified as their carrier is whatever have you, or this type of thing. Specific policy, their carrier is going to ask, incredibly more in-depth underwriting questions, or that specific policy type requires more, or there's substantial, price fluctuations. And so we know that exists. So we can dump those in the pipeline and then, leveraging a tool that really you can keep the organization and individuals on point, on task, and have an appropriate process. So I'll climb off that soapbox there, Lucas, for a minute. But I think that really highlights that the need for not just the tracking new prospects. Yeah, that's critical, but the reality is there's a lot of remarketing and that always go on, but particularly now in a hard market. So,
yep. Yeah, and we'll touch on that later in this conversation. I think that, you can automate some things, and some things are going to require the team to be engaged. And the pipeline is that bridge to assign those tasks and to manage that workflow when you want automation to help you scale and keep your people focused on the right thing at the right time. One other quick update, we've added call forwarding on our texting platform. So if you've provisioned a new number with our texting platform and somebody calls it, it'll now ring to your office number. And we're launching, I think it actually is live. We just need to announce it. We're launching email notifications for any missed text message. So
nice.
Nothing slips through the cracks and everything gets a reply.
Awesome. Working smarter. That really just what we just shared about. You mentioned we'll dive into it. Using the right tools to boost productivity. I mean, Lucas, it really is about working smarter. Virtually to an agency, everybody we talk to is just, in fact, one group of agencies suggests that there's things getting put on the back burner that really shouldn't, because they're so busy with all these things. So finding solutions and finding ways to become efficient is got to be at the top of everyone's mind, or should be right now.
Absolutely. And so part of that, Joel, like is, figuring out for an agency, what are the right tools that I should be using right now to help me automate more, to work smarter, so I'm not involved in doing things manually, doing things the hard way. Where are the technologies that I should be leveraging? And that can be overwhelming for, for myself and my business, and it can be overwhelming for insurance agents as well, figuring out how to evaluate the options out there that can help me work smarter. There's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
Joel, when you're speaking with agents, what are you advising? And when you're consulting, what are you advising as the way to handle those different choices and make the right decisions to help at the time in the hard market when automation helps needed more than ever?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into, what I think can be some general fear about automation, which we can talk about after. But I think that there's just that. There's so many choices in the industry, which is a good thing. It's good to have choice. It's not a bad thing. Everybody should have choice. That's why an independent insurance agent is the best option for consumers, because of choice. And it's great that you have choice. I think where the difference is we're talking about this bleeding edge technology that sometimes gets out there in any industry is not necessarily thought out. It's that shiny new tool. It's exciting in the moment, but is it really going to truly impact the agency as a whole and a day in the life of each and every agent? So I always just draw caution there. Agencies today really need solutions that understand the marketplace, the market conditions, and are really creating solutions that so they can work smarter, not harder, and identify those opportunities. We've always talked, particularly here at Agency Revolution, that the money's in the relationship, the value of the relationship. And now more than ever, the need to keep a fence around your herd, and create efficiencies. So if you do have to move someone around or remarket or retarget, are absolutely there. And you can't do it for every single person, and much less reach out to every single person. So finding tools that'll help create those efficiencies, help build better relationships, and help people understand where you're coming to agency are absolutely critical. So I guess to summarize, beware of the shiny new tool, right? And that shiny object that can get you in trouble, in life in general, but particularly when evaluating solutions.
That's great. And I add one kind of related thing to that as well, that software provides capabilities. There's a lot that you can do with software, but we often focus on like that shiny new thing, that capability, and maybe not thinking through, how is my agency going to adopt that software? What kind of impact will this tool have on the day-to-day life of the front of house staff or the producers? Because if they don't adopt the software and make those changes, if the change management is not handled correctly, we're just at risk of buying an expensive tool that doesn't get used. And then what's the point? So you can't just look at the capability. You also have to look at, okay, how does this tool lend itself to being adopted and lend itself to being used? What have they done to help this be easy to drive change within my agency? Change is hard. A lot of people will resist it. And we definitely took that into consideration in the design of Fuse. We built this product so that it doesn't require intimate day-to-day usage by the front of house staff, so that you can still get the results of getting in touch with your clients and scaling relationship and being the one that they think of when they think of insurance, and not necessarily having somebody in there day-to-day, minute after minute, keeping the tool up to date. So that's an important consideration as
Absolutely.
well. Joel, another question on our list here today. There's lots of tools out there, and there's tools that focus in the insurance industry, and there's tools that kind of like, focus in the general world. And some of those general world tools, that anybody could use for any business, they don't necessarily speak to the insurance industry really well, but kind of like my last point, like, oh, they have some really cool new features or really bleeding edge, cutting edge things. Why all in one? Why insurance focused tools? Why does Agency Revolution only build for the insurance industry and doesn't build its tool for the whole universe out there? What's the difference? Why wouldn't somebody go with a broad tool instead?
There's about 7 different ways to answer this question. I think, the fact that we've been around for 25 plus years and we understand this industry, I think you just step back and you think about what it is that any software, any solution that you're using, and we step back to that initial, everybody always says we integrate. Well, number one, what does integration actually mean? It just means moving data from one place to another. How does that actually work? That's important. The next question really that should be asked is, what are you getting and what are you doing with it? Like, what information are you doing and what can you do with it? And so to answer this, why insurance focused tools better, let me just put this as bluntly and straightforward as possible. And Lucas, I'm going to give you a tip of the cap here on this is, for Agency Revolution, we integrate or partner with virtually every major agency management system. And virtually every agency that uses said management systems uses them differently. And so when we start integrating, getting data, you have to have some sort of logic and understanding of that data that's coming to effectively use it. That's great to get data from one place to another, but if it doesn't do anything, then it doesn't do anything for you. So a pure fact of knowing that you have people like Lucas and his team that, I'll throw it out there, they know agency management system data better than anyone else in that industry. And I'm not saying that because I'm wearing the brand on my chest. I believe that from my years as a client to my years now standing here, having a solution and a company that knows how to work with that data to make it right for you, not pulling data from 1,000 different places that may be used in hundreds of different industries. We're pulling data from your core solution. So having an insurance focused tool, like I think we can all agree, data that it's in agency management systems is a conundrum, right? But that's why having an insurance focused solution is absolutely critical to know what to do with that conundrum to benefit your agency.
Yeah, and when I look at, like, why didn't we just, build multi-industry tools? Because we could do so much more and build much more resonant value for an insurance agent than if we built a generic tool for everybody. So, for example, flipping back over here, in this example over here, we make it easy to filter down and query your data, slice and dice it to specific policy types, specific carriers, upcoming renewal dates, whatever you need. You got that slice and dice capabilities in there. And the content library, go ahead, Joel, if you want.
No, I was just going to say, you're jumping in the content library. The fact that you have a content library built specifically for this industry. But I was going to use another example, and you don't have to go in and demo this, but I think taking the most basic automation, this should not get anyone excited. And if it does, great. But the idea of a welcome kit, onboarding new clients, the most basic, easiest thing in the world. But anyone on this call or anybody knows in this industry that's not that easy. That's not that easy, because you and I and everyone knows that just because someone shows up as new in the management system does not mean they're new. They could be rewritten, reinstated, replaced. We all know, we've all seen renewals download as new, or the fact that that renewal is canceled and new. So you need to have a solution that has the logic built in to actually welcome only new clients, not people that have been remarketed, which I'm sure that's happening a lot in your agency. So that would be, a technical example that I see a lot.
Yeah, which by the way, we do.
Which
specializing here, that gives us the opportunity to learn and customize and specialize the tool for our clients, insurance agents and brokers. So absolutely. So the hard market is definitely a time for agents to show up and be present. But it's also the hardest time, right? We're so busy working on, remarketing business, renewing business, finding markets. We're hustling. Agents are working hard right now. How can they do both, the day job, working in the business, and also working on the business to help grow it and really set themselves up for success in the hard market? What can they do to communicate better, and how do they do it?
This is, to me, this is so critical. And I always put it this way: your clients love surprises. Everybody loves surprises, just not from you. Just not from you. Okay. So they don't, like, clients don't understand. Maybe they don't even care what a hard market is and what that means for your agency and how busy you is. You need to communicate that to them. You need to acknowledge them. So let me, a real basic example here. Once again, so the carrier has just told you that they're going to be taking a closer look at the underwriting for whatever policies, these commercial lines, personal lines, property, whatever it is. You know that they're going to be there, that you're going to get those questions, or they're going to be using drones to fly over buildings, or whatever the case is. You want to tell those people right away. They don't need that surprise. Even if it's a price increase, or it's coming, tell them. Say, you should be able to target that specific group of clients and say, hey, Lucas, over the coming months, you're going to get some additional communication from us, and here's why. We're experiencing a hard market. What that means, it's increasingly difficult for us to place insurances, and there's even some rate increases. Good news, we are an independent insurance agency, which means we can provide choice. Now, if you want us to properly protect you, there's some information we got to have. So look for those communications from us to provide us with the information we need to protect you better. That communication should be going out from every agency. That's being proactive. And then, you can run an automation, whatever have you, to collect that data, whatever have you, perhaps pinpoint the higher value clients or your VIPs, or whatever have you, where you may want to be maybe even more connected, personally reaching out or whatever have you, but running some sort of automation in the background to collect that information. These are the communications that you should be using today. And then, of course, automating a drop into a service pipeline to help organize that, to make sure those things are done, or whatever have you, can really better. But I think right now, today, that communication that every agency should be doing is at an educational, informing their clients of what they can expect over the next 6 months to a year in this market. That proactive nature will save you time.
Joel, that's brilliant. So, but some agents may be concerned about poking the bear. Like, maybe you should just ride, below the horizon, and maybe they won't notice that 10, 15, 20, 30% price increase, right? Like, is that a viable option?
I'm such an avid believer in poke the bear, and you do hear that all the time. Like, so I'll start this, poke the bear. So every once in a while you'll get I've had agencies tell me, well, the last thing we want to do is be the one that's they don't want to hear it. We don't want to induce them into thinking that we're going to reshop them or whatever have you. Just for the record, if you think that one email or text message that you're going to send them on a monthly basis or once a quarter that's going to be the thing that cues them to shop their insurance, you are sadly mistaken. They're hit with images and thoughts all day, every day. Every time they click, call, scroll, drive, save money, your whatever, your increases, their markets, their hearing, it's on the news, it's everywhere. So your communication is not going to be what triggers them. Your communication is going to be what educates them. Remember, people choose independent insurance agencies for 2 reasons, and 2 reasons only: your expertise and the relationship you provide. Price only matters in the absence of value. Add your value, educate people on why there is hazardous nature about switching carriers right now. Particularly, underwriting could be done after the fact and you can't write them back. Educate your clients. Inevitably, yes, some maybe leave, but the vast majority have chosen you for a reason. Show that value, build that relationship, and I can assure you that fence will be built strong around that client base. And then you can ride those 15, 20% increases in revenue as well.
Okay, so the hard market can be a good thing. I can get all these the rate increases, keep all my clients, and see my business grow. Maybe, well, maybe with the help of automation, perhaps. It's not without its challenges, of course. The hard market does have its benefits, but it's going to be hard work, of course. A lot of folks are concerned though. Okay, so I send out this communication. I've got some proactive comms, before account review and account renewal. I know which carriers are doing rate increases, so I'm getting some comms out there. And Agency Revolution's got templates to support all this, so it's easy. But like, is that personal enough? Is this human enough for me to have an impact? How can automation be more human and be more personal? How does that work? How do I?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's got to be. I mean, people. That's what people value, right? If you're going to send communication, email, text, whatever, it should be open and engaged with. Or what's the point? Like stop checking boxes. If all you're doing is send it to send it, so what people value are really the four key things. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be timely. It needs to come from someone they trust, and it needs to be personalized. So that's the key to having an automation that is effective and provides benefit. And so being able to segment, target those specific carriers, lines of business, branches, brands, whatever. No, timely, like time as soon as tell them, and then time things out. So, midway through the year, 90 days, whatever have you, to making it timely from someone they trust. Your agency has a brand, yes, but people build relationships with people. So having a communication come from someone they trust. These are all things automation should be. And finally, personalizing a communication. Like there's nothing worse than and mail merging someone's first name is not personalization in the world we live in today. So being able to leverage the data, like right back to working with a solution that knows your industry, and the idea of integrating, like integration is only moving data from one place to another. The question is what data are you getting and how are you using it? A proper solution that is integrating and pulling that data should be able to automate all these things, but also personalize a piece of communication. Put some data in there, like their policies with you, their account information. When I say account information, we're not talking about billing and these types of things. We're talking about, hey, we know you have homeowners with us, an auto, or you have your commercial gen, you got a bot policy, we got workers comp. Personalizing that communication, so when it goes out to someone, that's what's critical. So you move from there over to the idea of this is a bulk business. Like you need hundreds, if not thousands of clients to keep the doors open. There's just no way an agency can proactively and stay in front of all those people without leveraging automation. So that is really the key. Your clients want to hear more from you. You don't have time. They don't want your junk. So leveraging a solution to personalize the communication, make sure it's relevant, timely, from someone they trust, and then getting it out at mass. So then that saves time. That saves time when you collect that information. You can build relationships better. It's just the reality of it, Lucas. Like that's what automation is about. So you can do these things.
Right. So it's like let's set up the communication as if it was coming from the person who has a relationship with the client, and make that communication as personal as possible in the way that the client or your CSR producer would be communicating. And we've got tools in Fuse to kind of accomplish some of those, like our policy table here. We can insert that. Fuse has a robust system of merge fields. So if we do want to go beyond just like hello first name and actually merge in like, like a birthday or a renewal date, you can throw these dates in here and, like adjust how that's formatted so it feels very natural. Like, oh, your policy is going to expire on such and such date and so on. Fuse also has the ability to let every producer and agent personalize the communication in the outbox. So let the automation make sure the right message is being sent at the right time to the right person from the right person. And then, sorry, I don't have any messages in my outbox right now, but then I can click on a message here and then I can personalize it, change the language, add a personal greeting to it to be more effective in that communication as well. So automation can be personal, and automation is really about setting up the best practices so that you are building deeper relationships with your clients. There's some common objections, Joel. Joel, do you have anything here that wrinkles your skin, that really irritates you, that you want to speak to?
Yeah. So we've kind of talked about the impersonal, like a proper automation should be personalized. So that goes out the window. Why do agencies need automation? We've talked about that. You have hundreds, if not thousands of clients. So, you know, is an automation hard to implement? No, not if you're working with someone that knows how to do it. Right. If you're rebuilding Rome here, yeah, it can be difficult, but working with solutions that understand the data and then have the partnerships and the technical expertise to do it for you, then that's not that hard. And it's all content is the same. No, it's not. All automated content is the same. You should have the ability to leverage a content library, but if you're so inclined to add a little bit of your personal story, your personal nature, your personal expertise, you want to do that. So our agency is different. How can this work for us? Just that. Add your story. The idea of a customized process, just because there's a canned or pre-built campaign for an account review, doesn't mean that's the way you have to do it. The ability to customize those steps. We certainly understand here at Agency Revolution that not everybody is cookie cutter, right? And so we have best practices. 25 plus years of experience tells us that certain things, this is a good way to do it. But far be it from us to tell you that if you think you have a better way, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try that. The last one is really the one that it's the old grinds my gears.
Wrinkles my skin.
Our clients, like old school communities, will we upset them? No. So number one, there's actually so on our so I always say, listen, nobody ever operated an insurance agency in a more rural part of the world than I did, and digital communication worked for us here in the middle of nowhere. So number one. Number two, a colleague of ours. So Corey is an account executive with us here, and prior to working here at Agency Revolution, he actually worked for cell providers. So that's what he did. And our clients are old school communicators, like that older demographic, don't want to do that. And he says vehemently, whenever the next release for the newest iPhone, Android, the coolest technology, the lineup at the store to buy that was not 16, 17, 18, 20 odd year old people. It was older generation. They wanted to be the first ones to have the newest, coolest technology, and they had the money to buy it. So it's not just old school. You can combine those two. I'm not saying you don't ever have to send somebody a postcard or whatever have you, but the reality is it's the world we live in today, that digital communication. So my nearly 90-year-old grandmother who is in a senior citizens place still will send me a text message. I can assure you. So it's okay. And will you upset them? Yeah, you will upset them if you send them your garbage, if you spam them. But if you send them relevant, timely, personalized communication, leveraging a solution that can help you do that, and also track things like engagement score. So there is a fine line between effective communication and spamming the crap out of people. So you don't want to cross that line. Be respectful, add value, share your expertise, and you will not upset them. And if you do upset a few clients, then let them go. It's okay. They obviously don't value you, your agency, or what you do. So it's okay to let them go. Everybody else will, as long as you keep those 4 things in mind.
Awesome, Joel. I was going to say that my parents are in their 70s now, and they use text message. That's pretty normal. Like, oh my gosh, we're all getting older, and text message is no longer the young people communication tool. It's pretty normal. So it's only going to grow in that trend even more. Just the way things are.
And that's why, like, we really didn't get into, the idea of texting. Like, I understand that your agency may not like it. Well, yeah. There's a lot of things I don't like, but you might have to you might have to figure out a way to adopt that. So finding a solution, web chat. How many agencies do I see out there that have chat on their website? And I highly doubt somebody's watching that in real time for the 10 seconds I'm on their website. If nobody responds, then they lose me. Having a web chat solution that allows you to stay with that client even after they leave your website is critical. So these are all things that are important with communicating and really building relationships in the world we live in today. I'll make this one last soapbox comment. People value relationships more today than they ever have. The value of a relationship is higher today than it ever has been. It's where they want to build that relationship that has changed. Once upon a time, it was, the shaking hands, kissing babies, walking through the bricks and mortar of a business. That's not where people build relationships today. It's through digital means. It's through email. It's through text. It's through web chat. It's through your social media. That's where people will build that relationship, and they'll value it more today than they ever have. So take that into consideration, please, for your agency.
You're here. Well, let's turn it over to Q&A.
Q&A.
Q&A. So yeah, happy to answer any questions here. Joel is as well. There was a question that came in, and I wanted to answer it earlier, so thanks for being patient with us here, Janet. Question that we've got is from Janet, is about the call forwarding feature that we just released for Fuse texting. So if we provision a new number for you, if we provision a new number for you, we'll keep it that simple. There's now a setting that will be released. It's not out just yet. It'll be on I misspoke. It's almost out. It'll be over here, Janet and everybody else, under your texting dashboard and text settings. You'll see a little call forwarding number right there coming. I'll make sure that gets out there by the end of this week here. If not, at the end of this call, you'll see that there. And then, so if anybody calls your number and it's not a text-enabled office number, which we also support in many cases. So if somebody were to call this number after I have that set up, I can have it ring to the standard office line, and you can too. So that's coming soon.
I'm reading that question as well. Anything you've walked them through what they need to do, but of course, I think it's safe to say that we're all obviously always here to help support our agency partners in any facet. So reach out to us. You can use the live and app chat with Fuse, or email team@agencyrevolution.com, and everybody's always happy to help. Okay, so Kathy, you have a question. So you're with our parent company FMG. That how can I get help through that website? So the pipeline solution that we discussed is for the Agency Revolution Fuse solution. That's where you're going to find that. As far as where you would find that, I am not as familiar as Lucas maybe with the FMG solution, so I won't speak to say that it's not there. I will let you share that.
Yeah. The FMG Suite solution is great because it's more financial planning, financial advising focused. So you got a great library of content, of course, and compliance tools built in. It is a separate platform than what you see here with Fuse. And so Fuse it integrates with your agency management system. So maybe one reason you're not in Fuse is because we do not integrate directly with benefits focused management systems. We integrate with, like AMS 360 and Hawksoft, QQ Catalyst, Applied, Epic, and TAM, and so on and so forth, and NASA, and etc. So feel free to reach out to the Agency Revolution side of the business if you want to learn more about it. But the FMG website doesn't work with the Agency Revolution Fuse product, besides the web forms, which could be embedded on any website, including FMG's. So I hope that answers your question, Kathy.
I don't see any other questions. Lucas, do you have any? I usually have some real great ones for you. I don't want to throw you totally under the bus with like a crystal ball.
I'm used to it, Joel.
What's a crystal ball look like? What's coming up? Like what's big picture? What I'm a client of Agency Revolution. I'm a prospective client of Agency Revolution, or Fuse, or Forge, or whatever it is. What might I see by January 2024?
Oh, by the end of the year. Cool. That's
Give you lots of runway. Lots of runway.
Easy to work with. Yeah, great question. See what you might see live by the end of the year. We're adding journeys to our pipeline capabilities. So let me toggle over here and illustrate this. So if you've got a lead that you're working on your pipeline, and let's say you dragged a lead over to, I don't know, quote delivered, we can then automatically follow up with everything that Fuse does: multi-channel, multi-sequence communication, a text message, a postcard, an email. We're going to trigger that communication automatically that you can configure in the pipeline journey. So that is coming before the end of the year. That'll be available to all of the customers who have the pipeline as part of their Fuse product, which is everybody today. So that's one, and we're continuing. So on the texting platform, we're rolling out daily syncs back to the agency management system. So if you're having a conversation with a client and they're in your AMS, and we'll sync that record for the AMSs that support writebacks, Hawksoft, AMS 360, QQ Catalyst will make those writebacks to your AMS every day. In addition to, we already have an archiving capability on there already. So we'll continue to write those archives. And the nice thing about an archive is, like, archive will bundle up the entire conversation into a single file. So you can see it and read the entire conversation, which is really convenient. Daily sync solves a different problem, which is I need to know in real time or as soon as possible what communications have been sent to my clients in my agency management system, so I can provide the best possible service if I'm a producer or CSR and I'm not like out of the loop on some important critical communication. So there's much more to come as well, but those are some of the bigger highlights. No, there's more. For our Applied Epic customers, we're soon launching the ability to send from any single servicing role. So Applied Epic allows for up to 15 different servicing roles. And so this is really an applied only solution, an Epic only solution. Will now allow you to send from those different servicing roles. So you'll be able to like change your default sender here and choose from every servicing role that's available in your agency in your Applied Epic. Joel, you're probably wondering, isn't there something else? Am I missing?
There is, and
something?
I've been banging this drum for I don't know how many years, but I've heard rumors for our Applied Epic clients that there may be a slightly improved, vastly improved integration.
Yeah, do we have any Applied Epic users on the line right now in this call who are brave enough to raise their hand and maybe be first in line for this exciting new feature? We're looking for a couple more folks to, make this bulletproof and test it.
I saw one hand raised.
You see hands going up. Let's make a note of those hands.
I see hands raising.
But boy, there's a bunch of hands raising. Okay, we're gonna need to like have an epic battle to pick a few. We can't handle a bunch. Let's have a cage match and we'll select a winner.
What's the Lucas, aside from on here? So if they want, should they shoot someone an email? Is that the best way to do that, do you think? Or
yeah, so what is it, first of all, that we're talking about? Let me pull up our feedback portal and pull this up over here. Automatic sync from Epic to Fuse. So we've had 12 of our customers vote for this. This is one of our more popular items. If you're interested in getting on the list and being able to have that automatic sync from Epic to Fuse, just log into the feedback portal. Just go over here to feedback.agencyrevolution.com. I'll see your vote. And I'll have my product analyst, Craig Boersma, been with me for 10 years. I'll reach out and we'll see if this can work for your agency and get that set up. We're just piloting this right now to make sure that it's robust and reliable. Everything's done. We're just learning through this process. So it's worked out well for those who've been in the beta, and I'd love to get a couple more beta testers.
Awesome. Please raise your hand, go to feedback.agencyrevolution.com. So
here, I'll send a link.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And so we don't have to, send to everyone, because I've been in Lucas's ear about this for I don't know how long, and so he's probably tired of hearing from me. But there's a link now in the chat functionality. So if you've raised your hand and you're interested, go to that link, throw your hand up there for the automatic sync from Epic to Fuse. You can search it if Lucas provided a direct link. Raise your hand, and Craig will connect with you.
Yeah, we'll get that taken care of. walk you through that. We'll schedule an appointment, and it takes about 30 minutes, and then you don't have to upload files anymore.
Oh, so exciting. So exciting. Well, Lucas, I don't see any more hand raises, questions. So with that said, I think we'll call this the pit stop. I would encourage each and every one of you that sees value, agencyrevolution.com, under resources, upcoming events. So all kinds of upcoming webinars that may be specific to a certain aspect or thought, upcoming demos with Dave. Check those out. Future pit stops. As far as other events, I know if you're IAOA member, we're going to be at that event. It's in, I want to say Chicago. If I'm wrong on that, forgive me, IAOA. Stop in and see our folks there. If you're going to be in Vegas for AppliedNet, stop in and say hello to myself, as well as Dave is going to be there as well. So, I think that's
Wait, Joe, when is AppliedNet? Where are the dates on that? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
I fly in on the 22nd. So I think if you're an applied user, it may run from like the 21st, 22nd to the 26th, 27th that week. I fly in on the 22nd and there till Thursday. So please stop by, say hello, client or friend. Please stop in. Would love to see you all. And of course, IAOA, regardless of what management system you may be using, IOA is always a great time, a phenomenal event. Stop by and see our folks there. We'd love to chat with you.
Awesome. And I'll be at the Insure Tech Connect the week after in Las Vegas as well. I'm going to miss you, brother. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So, and our VP of marketing, Stephanie's, is today at a Hawksoft user group, and I forget where it is, but I'm assuming if you're at the Hug regional event today, you're not on this webinar. But if you are, and say hi to Stephanie, she's there somewhere at the event. I just forget exactly where that regional event is. I know we were at Salt Lake City a few weeks back, but anywho, it might be in Cleveland or something. So anywho, Thanks everyone. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for your time. Until next time, we'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody. See you.